What is happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel. First things first, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. And things seem to be picking up in the transfer market a bit now. And on Friday night, it was confirmed that Brighton and Arsenal had reached an agreement over a £50 million fee for England centre-half Ben White. George, what were your initial reactions to seeing that news? And do you think this represents a good piece of business for all parties concerned?
I think it's a very high premium transfer to pay for someone that has very little experience. We don't really know a lot about him, but like you said, I think you're always going to pay a higher price than a premium because he's English for one, and due to the age, he's obviously going to be more expensive as well because it's an investment rather than you're bringing in a ready-made player. But for me, I think £50 million for Ben White I think that's a lot to ask, but they obviously want to go down that route. I think they're trying to address certain areas of the pitch they need to improve, and they do like their young English talent. We've seen that through and through Arsenal before, but a strange transfer for me. I mean, £50 million now probably isn't so much as it possibly looks at on paper, because that's probably an average signing really now. But you just continue with the Arsenal thing, and there's been question marks for decades about the transfer policy and everything from that club. I mean, we just discussed Willian a few minutes ago before we came on air, and just how farcical that was. So this just adds to that worrying trend for Arsenal for me.
Yeah, I have to say I'm a little bit surprised that obviously, look, the player doesn't pick the fee involved. He's obviously probably Brighton's best player. They value him at that much, and if you want the player, then you have to pay the money. But I think, as you mentioned, for an English player, the price seems to increase by at least 15, 20 million pounds. I remember when he had his loan spell at Leeds a few years back, when Leeds then came up into the Premier League, they wanted to make that move permanent, but they couldn't get it done. But the fee then was about 20 to 25 million pounds. And it now seems that with another Premier League season under his belt and a couple of England caps, that seems to have added about 25, 30 million pounds onto the price. I mean, look, it remains to be seen. It could turn out to be a great bit of business, but I just can't help but feel Brighton have definitely got a much better end of the deal than Arsenal have here. But with the likes of David Luiz leaving, question marks over Rob Holding, Pablo Mari, etc. in the centre-half area, I think he definitely makes that centre-half. He definitely makes a centre-half position in the squad stronger. But whether he goes on to be a top player at Arsenal will remain to be seen. But yeah, certainly not, I think, a lot of money to spend on someone who's not really a proven top level performer in terms of in the big games. But we'll have to wait and see. And George, sticking with centre halves, obviously Manchester United have completed the signing of Jadon Sancho. Just needs to be officially announced. But another move that seems to be taking a step closer is the transfer of Rafael Varane from Real Madrid to Manchester United. I think it's kind of been well documented over the last season or so that Manchester United have really needed a capable defensive partner for Harry Maguire. Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof don't seem to be quite doing the business in that position. Varane, obviously, with a 1 year left on his Real Madrid contract, he's won everything there is there. He wants a new challenge. He doesn't appear to be interested in signing a new deal at Real Madrid, so they're probably going to have to cash in this summer unless they want to lose him for free. A fee is still to be agreed, but personal terms are agreed. He'll be doubling his salary from the 5 million euros net he earns at Real Madrid to 10 million euros at Manchester United. Just how much of a concern is it if this transfer goes through that Manchester United could really push on next season?
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly set the pace for this transfer window, haven't they? They haven't messed about. They obviously got Sancho over the line that they were desperate to last season, but they've gone straight back in with that one. And Varane's the same. I mean, the thing that they're doing well is they're addressing the areas that were the biggest concerns of last season and just getting them over the line. I mean, we all know that they were never going to change Maguire, and he's had a good Euros, and I think that partnership will work well because Varane's slightly more agile, has a bit more pace, and Maguire will be the defender who goes up for the first balls and, the kind of aerial challenge. So I think it works. I think it's a really, really good signing. Varane's, as we've talked about, someone who's been on the books, been a hot target for a lot of clubs for a long time, and he's been obviously at one of the biggest clubs in world football and he's still fairly, he's in his prime now. So I think it's a really good bit of business, and it is worrying for us, being Chelsea fans, because United seem to be strengthening big areas, and the biggest worry for me is that other clubs seem to be standing still, which I don't think is ever a positive thing to do.
Yeah, I think, do you think that if they can get this Varane deal across the line, would you consider them, if they were to make no further signings after him, would you consider them title contenders for next season? Or do you still, I still feel they're probably a little bit short in the goal scoring department. Obviously, Cavani has done well. I don't think he's going to score you 20 league goals a season. I don't think they've got anyone in that team that will score you 20 league goals. So do you reckon they're still a little bit short in terms of a title charge?
It's hard to say, isn't it? Because it depends how all the other clubs get on. I mean, if City don't manage to sign anyone because of the money, the targets that they're after are so astronomical that they might end up not getting anyone of that sort. Similar to Chelsea, but they do look a bit flat in the attacking area. But then I think we'll probably see more of Greenwood this season. He'll probably get the step up. They've got Rashford, they've got Cavani, so they have got players that can score goals. I think they're probably shy in midfield slightly. They've got a few aging players there. They like McTominay, but they've still got players like players that need to be shipped. So title challenge, perhaps, yeah, but it remains to be seen. I mean, if City go on and sign Kane and say Jack Grealish, then you would say it's all City's then. So it really does depend on how the other big clubs get on.
Yeah, no, 100% agree on that. And slightly moving away from the kind of the top four, Rafa Benitez seems to be making his first few moves in the transfer market with Everton. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the signings of Asmir Begovic, who I presume will be a backup keeper to Jordan Pickford. Damari Gray is by all means coming in from Bayer Leverkusen, the former Leicester winger. And Andros Townsend from Crystal Palace is expected to complete a move to Everton as well. Obviously, all three deals have not been officially confirmed yet, but they are expected to happen. What do you make of those signings and that bit of business from Benitez and Everton?
I think they've taken a back seat. They spent obviously a lot of money and went for some high-profile players under Ancelotti. So maybe they don't need to sign as many new players because they've still got a few players settling in. You've obviously also got the factor of the stadium that's arriving soon in a couple of years' time. So maybe financially they've got a few constraints. But I think one thing Benitez is good at that I can't disagree with is he's quite good at getting the best out of players that might be a bit left field. We saw that with Liverpool, the team of 2005. There were quite a few players that I think raised a few eyebrows at the start, but he managed to get them playing at the very top level. So Townsend's a well-proven Premier League player, so I think he'll do well. But we know quite a bit about Begovic as well. But strange one again. Everton have just been, the last couple of years, just such a strange side in terms of what their vision is and what they want to achieve. So I'm not sure that they're going to cause any threat against the top four for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I look at these signings as perhaps more squad fillers rather than, I'm not sure if either or any of those will go into the starting 11. And obviously Benitez needs to win the fans on side. I think there's a lot of fans that are still angry about his performance. And I don't think that these three signings are going to be, getting the fans excited and on the edge of their seats. But again, we might just be seeing these are squad signings, and then they've got some perhaps slightly bigger deals in the pipeline further into the window. But yeah, as an Everton fan, I don't think I'd be particularly excited about those three players arriving. Yes, it adds some good squad depth, and they're all proven in the Premier League. But I don't think it makes Everton a better side and will kind of fire them up the table, as it were. But yeah, that's sort of just a quick roundup on some of the major news that's been doing the rounds in the transfer market. There'll be plenty more to come in the coming days and weeks. But as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next video.